guys, welcome back to another Wolves Community Blog. Well, we got everybody here. We're ready to start this discussion. We have a lot of topics to bring up through all the testing we've been doing. We've been finding a few places where things just aren't balanced and working out, finding people things that just aren't working right, things that we need to improve on. And people are finally getting to the point where they want to buy planets, and it's time to get that discussion out of the way and figure out the actual prices we're going to work with on them. We have a good general idea of what we're going to use, but we need to set it up so the freelancers can actually start earning a score point of some kind to find out who's actually on the top of the leaderboards. So I think we should start off with the freelancer side of things and discussing planet prices. My thoughts and ideas about that was to have different set values for different types of planets that you purchase. And it also depends on the price you paid for how many types of resources you have. For instance, if you buy one planet with only one type of resource on it, it's only worth whatever that price is. Let's just say 300,000 for the planet plus the one type of resource on it. But if you add another resource to it, have two resources on it, it would be 400,000. So that means now you have two resources in the planet, and your score is now 400,000 over where if you only have the one resource on it, it would only be 300,000. And then every week we'll tally up the score based on the assets owned by the freelancer and the wealth in gold or credits that they have. What do you guys think about that thought?
Can we look at doing multiple resources but fewer deposits in cost? Does that make sense? We talked before, you said there's defaults like 8 deposits, correct?
Something like that, yeah.
So if we wanted to do instead of doing 8 deposits of iron, we could do 4 deposits of iron and 4 deposits of silicon. Would that be the same price?
No.
Or
there's a finite amount of deposits on the planet, and that gets split up to the resources in which you get. So if you want all 8 to be iron, then you're just going to buy the planet at the standard price. If you want to switch them out to customize the planet, it would cost you 100,000 for each type of deposit that you want to change. You got to remember the amount of ore you guys get with these deposits is insane. So it's not like
I'm not
it's
worried
not worth
about
that.
the amount. I'm just worried about.
It's
not really a worry, but just having more resources in one place, basically. Just so, mainly, my preference, I would like to have one planet with Neodymium and Zakosi and the rest of them, so I don't have to go back to that nightmare asteroid field.
Right, which would be completely understandable. So in that case, you'd have to pick one deposit, one type that you would want 2 deposits to be. So which would be your main one that you would want, and then the other 2 would just be what are the other 2 resources that you would want.
So we'd be looking at using your numbers, 500,000 for a planet with 3 resources.
Right, exactly. So the initial cost of the planets actually, without resources, would be 100 less of whatever the price is. So right now we're looking at changing it up so it'll start with the nasty planets to be the cheaper ones, all the way up to the Akua style planet, which would be the more expensive one. So it'd take you twice as long to get an Akua as it would to get a lava, for instance, because nobody wants a lava planet, right? Like, who here would actually pay for a lava planet? Well, you could buy one, and it'd cost you about 200,000.
Make sure it's got 4G gravity too. Just awesome. 97 thrusters.
But for instance, if you just doing it for resources and to actually make money off of it in a harsh way, you would buy the cheaper planets and just throw resources on them and then mine it out and then just ignore the planet, right? So
can we say even the cheap nasty planet? Can we say we don't want any critters on it?
Yeah. That's the beauty of buying your planet, is you can do whatever you want with it in that aspect. You want POIs? You can put POIs on it. You want no critters at all, then you don't have to have any critters at all. You want only herbivores, and you can have only herbivores. The only thing you can't choose is whether it's breathable or tolerable, like weather condition wise. The only exception to that rule would be the Akua. Once you can get the money to buy the Akua planet, you're spending a fortune for it, so you're allowed to do whatever you want with it. You want it to be breathable, it's breathable. You want it to be nothing but herbivores, you can have nothing but herbivores on it. You want it to have nothing but sunny weather the whole time, then you can have nothing but sunny weather the whole time. That's the only planet that you guys, when you pay for it, will be able to choose exactly what you want, other than the resource count. The resources are just our default, the way we're running with it, no matter what. But you can choose how many of what kind, like, of how many resources you want on the planet just by adding that extra amount to it. Now, if you've got 8 deposits on a planet, you can have 8 different resources on a planet too if you wanted to, but each type that you add is another 100,000 on top of the price. So if you want a planet with every resource on it, which you can do, it would already right there just for the resource counts, another 700,000 in gold on top of the cost of the planet, which the Akua at this point would be 500,000. So that's 12,000 in gold in order to have the pristine planet with every resource on it. But that right there gives you the permanent score as well of having 12,000? 120,000, right? That's 12,000.
1.2 million.
Or whatever. But you would have the highest score permanently from that point on just by owning that planet. And unless somebody else buys the same thing, then they can't compete with you yet score-wise. So if somebody has a lava planet with 8 different resources on it, they're only going to be half of it to score with the person who has the Akua planet. So the one that,
unless you buy 2 of those.
Unless you buy 2 of them. Yeah, that's true. But still, you're not going to want to dump 700,000 credits or gold ingots, onto a lava planet. I mean, come on, who wants to do that? When you can only spend 200,000 and get 1 resource on the planet, then, well, there you go. You just go mine out those resources. You have them. And then every week we'll tally up the score based on who owns what, and their wealth on top of it is also counted into their score, and that'll determine who is the wealthiest and the top-notch freelancer who holds, the winning rank in the freelancers at that point. And every month I'm thinking maybe we'll divvy it up to see who's the actual victor of the freelancers. So every week we'll update it, and then at the end of every month you'll know who's winning. Right now, even on the PvP side of things, the score itself is actually 1-0 at this point. I mean, did you guys remove? You guys did get rid of, destroy all our stuff. Got rid of it, right?
Yeah, we. Well, yeah, because we were trying to find the core. And core was the last thing we found. Otherwise, we would have just cored it. But, we couldn't find it, so... I wasn't even the one that found it. Spange actually found it.
So okay, so you did find it.
Where it was. Spange found it, yeah.
Okay, so the base was actually destroyed and taken over. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about the mining facility? Did you guys pop that one too, or no?
Mining facility? Was there 2 separate bases down there?
Yeah.
Thanks for that heads up.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, the first one that you guys lost the first battle on with where I actually logged in, that one there, that was our first base.
Yeah, we didn't attack that one.
Oh, okay. So technically you didn't win the first battle yet. So it's still 0-0. Dang it.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I thought we were leaving that alone so you guys could kind of rebuild a little bit.
Well, I didn't know if you attacked it or didn't attack it. I couldn't even get back in on the planet myself.
No, we attacked that second base because we figured it would be smaller and less defended. Since it was new.
On the topic
we didn't realize everything was there. It wasn't planned.
But you guys did a good job. I can't deny that. I mean, if it wasn't for certain other issues, I don't think you guys would have actually made it inside. But you know, you hit it at the exact right time to where you didn't have actually anything to worry about. I'll give you that much.
What do you mean?
There was no. Some of the things that were there didn't have power because somebody removed the power for other reasons to power something else. So there was nothing to attack you guys.
Oh. I mean, there was only one tank, and it was that green tank that you guys chased us off with a couple days before.
The stalker was
I mean,
inside, but it had no power. And she was staring right at the hangar door.
I only saw that one green tank, and there was an SV in there that you know, obviously couldn't defend itself.
Yep.
But everything else looked like hover drillers to me.
Nope, the stalker was hidden right there, staring at that door. And if it was powered, it would not. You would not have made it inside. I guarantee you, 2 artillery cannons and 6 rocket launchers aimed right at the door. I don't think you would have made it. Not with the first volley. But
There was nothing like that at the front door.
No, yeah, there was no HV like that at the front door.
oh no, when I logged in and I spawned in, I instantly died right in front of you because I was standing right next to your tanks when I logged in. I was next to the stalker. It was there. It's just at that point it was in nothing but blocks and pieces. So you guys took it out. You blasted it to nothing. That's when you came in that door. But it's like,
We must have blasted it real good right in the
I mean,
initial
when I came in, when I logged in, there was literally only 6 blocks left of the stalker and 1 engine.
All right, well then that's not the green tank then,
No,
right?
no.
Because the I mean,
there was a
my
thing
tank,
on the ceiling.
my tank rolled in first and just started clawing away at whatever was parked in there. And I know that green tank in the back got taken out like almost first. I don't know why my tank targeted that, but I didn't even see the thing you were talking about, to be honest.
It was there. Yeah, I was watching you guys blast away at everything with I think there's 3 tanks sitting on the inside when I finally logged in. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm out of here. I can't do anything. I just walked over in front of one of you guys and you just blasted my character in 1 shot. For right now, one of the things I was thinking about that we might want to implement to keep things from... What's the word I'm looking for? Being completely overly devastating on such a small play field. That planet is way too small, and I think, you know, it needs to be bigger, but we can't do that yet. So the one thing I was considering,
it's going to be bigger.
It's going to be huge. We're not going to have to worry about this kind of stuff constantly. Is for right now, maybe we should have the keep our moons to where they're off limits to each other, just the moons. But you can't store. Well, no, so that won't work either because you got to be able to attack wherever anything's stored at.
Yeah, if you make the moons off limits, then that's where everyone would just put everything.
Exactly. I hate that, and I don't want that. We need to make it so that way everything's...
Are they off limits now?
No.
Or you're saying you... Oh, okay. I didn't think they were.
I'm trying to find a way to balance out the scale of assaults on main targets. The way it's supposed to work is... It's not supposed to be base raids every day kind of thing. It's supposed to be random encounters.
Here's the problem. Because, like, first of all, we didn't know we were hitting a main target. So, like, unless you're, like, what are you going to declare every time? Like, oh, this base over here is my main target. Don't attack it on Wednesdays and Fridays.
No, way.
Like, we thought we were hitting a smaller base that, you know, was just less defended. We didn't realize that it was a main target at that point. So, how basically, like, my question is, how are you going to communicate, you know, that status to the other team?
You don't. It's not supposed to be. See, the concept was it was supposed to be, like I said, our problem is the planet's just too small. The concept of major assaults isn't supposed to be like a constant worry of a daily thing, if considering how small everything is right now. But because everything's so small, everything you find is everybody's big target, if you catch my drift. You know, that's where everybody's at or working or something like that. It's the way it's supposed to play out or work is it's based on random encounters outside of bases. You're supposed to. Both sides should be constantly fighting around the planet while exploring it or whatever, transporting this or that, or just going to mine at a deposit. You're supposed to be randomly encountering people in those places.
Yeah, but like, here's my question, because like, I don't know about you, but when I play, like, I'm pretty much at my base all the time doing stuff to, you know, build things or get, you know, process or you know, I'm not just like, you know, loitering out in the wilderness, you know, on a, you know, a spiritual retreat. So yeah, I just don't know when you're gonna. Like, it almost sounds like you're trying to force random encounters, which I don't know how that would work either. Like,
well, see, the reason why it's not is everybody built on a deposit. So everybody's got their main stuff sitting on top of a deposit. So there's no reason for you to go anywhere else.
But I mean, so here's the thing, though. Why would you? Like, I mean, I assumed when I saw that deposit that you were trying to encourage people to set up in certain areas. Because why wouldn't I set up on top of a deposit to protect it so that I had a guaranteed income, you know? So, I think I mean, I don't know what the issues were from like the developer type side of it that you guys have to deal with when you're making these planets in terms of like what the Titan worlds used to be last season. But if you had like all the deposits spread out like that, but maybe just as large, but all spread out, then I mean, putting it on top of one deposit isn't going to be
beneficial.
Yeah, kind of like, you know, it creates less of a like. I feel like a deposit of this size creates like an area where like you're almost guaranteed to find somebody put a base.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that was the point.
But if that's the point, then
you have to be allowed to attack bases.
Well, of course. There's no reason not to attack bases.
But isn't
but like I was trying, like I'm no.
Yeah, me too.
The goal that I'm trying to get to happen is, so base assaults are common, but not like an everyday thing, if you catch my drift, because it's not supposed to be that easy to just be able to get up enough resources to waste on blowing out a base assault every day.
I mean, there hasn't been one every day, though. I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, there hasn't been a base attack every day.
Yeah, I hope you don't think that me falling out of the sky the day earlier was a base attack.
His little cube fucking got blown to shit.
I thought that was just
fun.
Sorry
for cursing on the blog.
That was just fun and funny.
It was great, don't get me wrong. But that was me coming back into orbit.
You should have heard him in the TeamSpeak. He was just like, what the hell is going on?
I just came out of orbit and it was all over, baby.
And then we were like, oh crap, we have to go rescue Blighted, so we just flew over there and there was a base there. We didn't even know it was there. It was dumb luck that we found it.
About the moon, I think you should allow a small amount of resources stashed there. Not something major, but only something that gives the faction the ability to come back again in the event a total wipeout.
Like a fallback cache.
Yeah, I mean maybe.
But it can't be off limits to the other side though. Otherwise, somebody will take advantage of it. We can't have that. You guys, the one thing that everybody here should know about me is I'm all about balance. If something's out of balance, it's gonna bug the crap out of me until I find a way to fix it.
Well, then if both factions agree to say, it's just an example. Let's say, well, you're allowed to store 10 stacks of gold and 5 stacks of these resources or whatever on the moon, in the event that you have to rebuild from basically scratch.
How about this? I was thinking about this the other day when we were trying to help Faith out after you guys smeared them all over the... what if the freelancers, and it doesn't matter which group of freelancers, whatever. What if we had like a recovery package, like a cargo box that has maybe a constructor and just something to get you started again, and we put a gold price on it, and even though they may not have gold, but they can't spend gold on other resources until that's paid.
Like a credit card, like a credit.
Yeah, so they get a credit.
That works.
Or you can even have them, the first thing you do is you pay like your.
You have to
gold
pay the
stack.
debts.
Yeah.
You can't no freelancer will sell anything to them until their debts are paid. Or like you said, exactly. I like that too. You can pay for it in advance. That way it's already there for you, and then that way you can't, if you have gold, pay for other stuff because you already did. No, I like that. I like that a lot.
I like the pay for it in advance idea.
Either way.
Constructor in there. And,
yeah, you can
two
have
different kinds, like one with ingots and one without.
It's like paying for insurance. Like, I'll give you 2 stacks of gold if you promise to give me a care package when I need it. If I get wiped.
Would you make that a winning condition, forcing the other faction to buy a care package?
No, because if you pay for it in advance, then you're already saying then right then and there you've already done it. No,
yeah,
the winning
forced to use it.
No, you never know. It's literally just based on the combat on the gold planet. Whoever gets their butts kicked, then then the other side wins that one. And every week we'll tally up who has the most wins out of it, and it's just that's it. The moons don't count though. So here's the other side of it. Here's the other side of it to keep it. What?
Nothing. Carry on.
He's just
Blighted, go fall out of the sky again. Anyways, we'll make it so the only place the score counts is the PvP Prime planet. Moons don't count towards combat score. The only reason you attack a moon is to go after somebody's stored resources or something, if you will. So, the moons wouldn't be a prime target unless you're after their gold, because maybe they're storing it there. So, other than that, you wouldn't get a score count for it. The only time the scores count is in the orbits in space and the planet. So, there's 2 places the PvPers can earn their score points. On the planet of PvP Prime and in the space around it.
What about PvP asteroid field? This is just.
Now, if you capture, the only way you can score anything in that area would be as if you caught a shipment from the other side. And I'm thinking that should be the biggest, aside from the conquest of the planet, biggest scoring value. So I think that anything that's scored inside the asteroid field would be 2 times. So you would get 2 points for that one instead of just a 1 victory. It would count as 2. So let's say you win a planet victory, that's 1. You win the orbit victory because you wiped them out 2, and you also captured one of their shipments inside the asteroid field. That give you another 2. That's 4 wins right there for you in the week for your faction alone.
So you're not talking complete annihilation as a victory condition anymore. Because I was thinking, not necessarily using the care package is the way you get a point, but like, we wipe you out, you get your care package to start back up, and and then it keeps going on. And then if you wipe us out, you guys get a point, we get our care package to start over, like that kind of thing. Because it keeps the server going, because that was going to be a problem we were going to run into anyway, with absolute victory being a win condition while keeping the server going. So,
you lost me. Because you just said the same thing I did.
Well, no. So because you're talking about like winning a battle is like a 1 victory point.
No. You have to wipe the other side off the planet. Period. Same in space.
Okay, so I don't know what you. So then, losing a battle out in space isn't a big deal. Like, why were you giving? How am I earning 4 points in a week?
Okay, on the planet, it's about total annihilation of the other side. I mean, you've taken over all their stuff, you've destroyed their ships, taken over their ships or whatever, and killed all the players. You off the planet. Well, there's your one victory. You own the planet. That is now your territory. Because the other side is completely defeated. Orbit around the space of the planet. Same thing. So if you would have to destroy their space station, take it over, destroy their ships, and also destroy their spawn points. They can't spawn back like always.
How do you limit attacks on bases and make the...
I don't want to limit the attack on bases. Okay, that's the one thing I don't want to do is we don't want to do that.
Complete and utter
Because you were, but you were
control.
saying that before. That's why we're confused.
See, the problem is
before you were saying you want to encounter people randomly out on the planet
as well.
And limit base attacks.
Not limit them. I used the wrong words, and I want to make sure we clarify this right now. There's no limit on attacking or assaulting anyone. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. The problem we've been having right now is the fact that our planet playfield is just so small, and we have a lack of players, long-term players, I should say, on one side. So one side's always able to get stuff done. The other side is struggling to get stuff done because the other side doesn't have people that play for hours at a time during the day, every day. And like I said, we don't want to limit the assaults. We don't want to limit any of the attacks and stuff like that. We don't want any of that crap. What I'm thinking, we need to expand the playfield, for one, to not just the planet. We need to start getting people to do stuff in space, too. That's why I want to introduce the gold asteroids. So that way, you have two playfields to worry about, but they're still in the same general playfield, if you catch my drift. It's the planet and space around it. So you're still working in the same area. And the space will be the same conditions as the planet. It's based on total annihilation.
Okay, go ahead.
The only difference between the asteroid field that separates our playfields from the PvE playfields would be that if you capture a shipment coming in for the other side, you would actually get a double point for that. That makes it worth actually trying to catch the shipments coming in, only in that playfield. The reason why we want to do that is so that way we can encourage people to actually go and train and actually go in there and catch one and get it, because you can get a double victory for the week right then and there, or the day.
Can I, just because I'm a little confused, what's the condition for capturing delivery? Because
it's real simple.
The PvE guys.
No. So if a PvEer, if they're coming by themselves and you come up on them and the other side's not there to defend it, you automatically get it. It's based on annihilating the other side. If the other side's not there to protect it, and you come up on it on the playfield, it registers on your screen, your faction automatically wins. There's just nobody for you to fight. You just took the shit.
But you just have to type that you are capturing this ship in space, and they have to follow you.
Well, here's the only problem with that. I don't know the rules on the PvE side right now, but do they have to fly across the playfield? Because if they're just warping to different playfields...
I think we should make it you actually have to fly across the playfield.
I mean, I'm not trying to make it more annoying for them to... Because I know that asteroid field's a pain in the ass.
I'm actually rebuilding it, don't worry. I'm really working hard on it. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on is there's going to be 2 points on the playfield. One on the north side, one on the south side is where it's going to come out to be. And randomly, you come in on the north side somewhere when you come from the north. It's just along a certain area there. But either way, you're going to be on the opposite side. You just have to go to the point on the other side. And no, there's no warping out because you got caught. Because no matter who it is, whoever finds it, and if there's no defense for it, then you automatically get it.
Well, here's the thing. So let's say I order a shipment, right, and I don't go to protect it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I haven't gone there, I obviously haven't paid them yet. So you now have to pay them for the shipment that was supposed to come to me.
That's the other thing we need to discuss is how do we want to handle the payments for the freelancers? Because the one way is you meet them in the asteroid field and you pay for it up front right then and there. Give them half up front and half on delivery if you want. But that's up to the freelancer whether he wants to do it that way or not. You know, it's their risk on how they're doing it. You know, you can meet them, pay them, and then transport and protect your shipment, or pay on delivery, which means they lose out anyway. They're going to lose out, which they're going to tell you. I almost guarantee you, the freelancers aren't going to want to ship it unless you're going to protect it, because they need to get paid.
Right.
So it's really up to them on how they want to manage it. You know, if they want to risk trying to run a shipment without protection because the other side can't protect it, then, you know, that's their choice that they made. And if they get caught by the other side, then they're out. You know, they just lost their funds for that shipment.
Okay, so here's my other question. How close do you have to get to the, like, let's say the PvE ship's undefended, right?
Uh-huh.
How close do you have to get to them before you're like, I've captured you?
Bomb them.
You literally just have to get within fired range, I guess we could say. So, let's say 10 kilometers?
10 kilometers?
5, sorry.
No.
Whoops.
You can't even see someone at 10 kilometers.
On radar, you can. I'm saying this backwards. I'm saying, let's say, like 2 kilometers. You get within 2 kilometer ranges, you can call it. On the other side, if they're being protected and there is somebody there in another ship, the only objective is you just have to destroy their ship. Outside of that, you have to get within 2 kilometer ranges, and then you can call it. Let's go with that.
So now if I am defending it, can I engage you and fight you while the PvE guy keeps going to my base, or to the rest of my guys who will take the shipment? Or do they have to sit there and wait for us to fight it out? Because
no, they can gladly keep going, but if you lose the battle, they get the shipment. It's that simple. It's all based on the actual outcome of that battle, I believe. Or, you know, the other side we can look at it is you have to kill the other side before they get to the jump point. But that would mean we'd have to actually trust people to say, you know, I made it to the jump point and didn't warp out beforehand. So
I mean, if you say I'm jumping right now,
I mean,
if you have TeamSpeak, we have the ability to communicate with each other.
Right.
Well, it's amount on a lot of trust.
But you got to remember that we want to make sure we don't add conflict between players. You know, the one side says this, the other side says that. Cause, you know, I hate that crap. It pisses me off.
I'm just going to propose an idea that might make it a ton simpler. What if you just put the trade hub in space above the planet, so the deal goes down there? Like, I can blockade you into the trade hub if I want with my fleet, and then you have to get through me to get back to your base. This way, we don't have to worry about jumping in, who's, you know, trusting people, you know, oh, I was close enough before you got within 2 kilometers.
No, because you could fly into you could fly into orbit around the planet and still battle it out over the shipment.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is I still have a reason to be up in space, patrolling space, if the trade hub's up there. Because you have to move your stuff around once you take your shipment from the freelancers. You see what I'm saying? Or did I lose you?
Or even just have another sector with a trade hub, maybe between the asteroid field
yeah, that works.
And the planet.
Which I think that might have been Spange's original idea back during like the first blog.
And so we did the whole trade hub and space stuff, and nobody ever used it. It just didn't work.
But if you make it
at the point
but
you have to trade, then
yeah, we have to trade on this server. Like, we didn't have to trade last season.
Well, that was the whole point why we have the trade port on the planet, is to make it so you have the space side of it. They have to get there. Once they get there, it's finally yours. It's safe, except for when you leave with it and take it back to your base.
Yeah, but see, like, that would be fine if, like, I don't know, you're just like, with the PvE guys not engaging in combat, because, you know, they obviously don't want to, that's why they're PvE, like, it's just like, I don't know, it creates all these lateral issues that, you know, Like if I just, if they were just PvP, I could just attack them and take the stuff. But now I have to worry about how close I am to them, whether or not they're at the warp point. It's just.
I say, let's just make this simple. Let's just cut it all right down the middle here. If you see a ship and it's by itself and it's PvE and it's undefended, you automatically get it, no matter what the range is. Because that way we don't have to play and worry about it. Because you saw the ship, you can't say you didn't. One, it'll also show up in the logs, and I don't have to worry about it. So if anyone shows up on radar inside the asteroid field or around the orbit of the planet, and they're a freelancer all by themselves, undefended by the other side automatically gets it.
Yeah, but if you have another, what if both PvP are and just happen to be in space and they're both 10 kilometers away from the freelancers?
And they better fight it out, because whoever comes out the top gets the shipment.
But I just want to ask again, what's the problem with having just the trade hub in space? Right, even just right above the planet, not necessarily in its own playfield. Because you eliminate all those issues. You encourage space combat without having to worry about, the freelancers, who saw who or what. If I see you at the trade hub making a deal, I'm going to sit there and wait. When the freelancers leave, I'm going to attack you and try to get the shipment.
Same thing on the planet.
Yeah, but right on the planet's too small right now. That's the problem. And again, with the trade hub being on the planet, there's no reason for me to go in space. But if you just put the trade hub in space, there is reason for me to go up there. There's reason for me to defend it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you would want to go up in space to get the gold anyways, if you want to go there. And to capture them if they're coming through. The whole point is to get them in space. You want to capture the shipments in space. That's the reason you go to space, is to literally get that convoy.
Well,
right, and I can capture it if there's this trade hub in space, is my point. If the deal goes down, I don't have to worry about pissing off the freelancers or anything with the freelancers. Or the PvE guys. They're PvE. As soon as the deal goes down, if I see your ship moving in space, I'm going to attack you, the PvP guy, and I'm going to take your stuff.
And make the PvP planet off-limit for the freelancers.
Then what's the point of being on the planet?
Make the PvP planet off-limit for the freelancers.
Because if I own
point?
the planet uncontested, I get a point, don't I?
Well, you still gotta attack bases. You can attack their bases and take their stuff.
But here's the other side of it. Once you're if you put it in space and you just go from the space station to another space station, you never even have to set foot on the planet now.
Yeah, except for whoever's on the planet gets a point for owning it then.
Yeah, if I own the planet uncontested, then I just get that's a victory for me. So you still want to contest all the playfields.
But if you already have space uncontested, and the other side has the planet uncontested, if the shipments are only going into space, then why even fight over the planet? It's my point.
Because you will want both the space. You will want both space and the planet.
Yeah, if I'm concerned with, if I enjoy PvP, I want to fight you wherever. I'm not going to just give up a whole playfield, just so I could be like, oh, well, now I don't have to deal with you. I want to engage in PvP. That's the point.
Well, the way I'm seeing it is the best thing is building space stations anyways you're going to want to do at this point, just so that way you have another place to back up to after you've wiped off the planet. The main playfield is the planet, and the secondary is the orbit, and then the third after that is the asteroid field.
Okay, but here's the other thing too. Even if you move the shipment back to your base, I can still attack your base and take the shipment.
Right. But if you're on the planet, you're not going to be trying to do it with SVs. Not against HVs. In space.
Well, I can say this much: if I had the planet, but the other faction had space, well, I might own the planet, but I also want the space. I want to put them back to the moon so they can't do anything except being there. So I would go out in space and attack their space station.
The reason why I'm asking you guys all these questions, and it seems like we're going around in circles, is because I'm trying to figure out and get an understanding of what is your drive to make you go to space or go to the planet. What is keeping you from not doing that? I mean, the only thing that's keeping you on the planet now is the fact that that's where you have to get everything anyways.
Because the vast majority of the gold is going to be on the planet.
So why build in space?
So I can attack, so I can get the gold asteroids up there as well, and I can attack you after you make your deal at the trade hub in space.
And take out your space station if you have one.
So why not do that on the planet? That's my question.
Because I already
you
own
can
the
do
planet.
that on the planet, but you're wanting more combat in space.
Yeah.
This gives you both. You can attack bases, either space stations or planet bases. And you just depends on what you want to do that day. It doesn't have to be just planet, it doesn't have to be just space. With with what Static's talking about, with just having the trade up in space, we just let like say they have a reason to go to space, but they also have a reason to be on the planet because maybe the PvP wants to store all their stuff on the planet. So they still got to get it to the planet.
Exactly.
Or they can store it on a space station. Either way, the other team's going to have something to attack, whether it's planet-based or space-based.
I can't store HVs in a space station. If I want to have tanks, which, trust me, Lucy loves his tanks, then I need a base on the planet.
Yeah, and I mean, if we have the planet and they have space, and if we don't attack each other, well, we might as well be PvEers. So there will be a situation where someone will attack because also, as Static said, he wants to get back on the planet, so they will attack our bases on the planet, while we will want to eliminate them from space, so we will attack their space station. So yeah, I think it's a perfectly good.
Somebody's going to have the planet and somebody's going to have space. I think it's going to be a mixture of both.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
well, if
in the
nothing
event
else,
it's happening.
you want to defend the point to the playfield. You don't want to just give up the point.
Yeah, I want to defend the point. I want the planet so I can get most gold. I want space so I can get extra gold and raid your shipments. You know? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely reasons to be in both places.
Yeah, I'm not just going to give you an uncontested point. Just, I'm going to move into space and to hell with the planet. Because that means every week you get an automatic point. Just because I don't want to be in both places.
Well,
Right.
You don't just get a point. The points are only given after a victory condition is met, which means annihilation of another side. So unless there's an actual,
if you control
for instance,
the whole planet,
then
you get the point.
Yeah,
from the
you're
victory
technically
condition.
Annihilated. Yeah, you're annihilated from the planet if you don't have anything on the planet.
So you're not getting a point every week just for holding it. You get a point by the actual conflict of battle of happening. So if let's say for instance you're in space and nobody else is there, you're not going to get a point for it. You're going to get a point if the other side comes to space with you and you actually wipe his ass out. Then you get the point for actually the conflict. The battle itself is what gives you the point.
Yeah, but if you sacrifice a playfield, if you for whatever reason say I don't want to be on the planet, you're sacrificing a ton of gold.
Right.
And that's going to give your enemy an advantage. If you don't go to space, you're sacrificing the gold up there and the ability to keep your enemy from getting their shipments. So, you're weakening yourself by limiting yourself to one playfield. So that's the point. That's the reason to be in both. You want to defeat the other guy.
Right.
You want to give yourself the best advantage to win, to achieve ultimate victory, and then the way to do that is to be everywhere.
I completely agree. So, I mean, the point is to see who has the most points at the end of every week. So, just sitting on a point doesn't give you points. You need to go and engage them back on the planet if that's where they're at, or they're going to come to space to attack you if that's where you're at. Because it's all about the victory in that playfield that gives you the point. So, you could do it multiple times. So, just sitting around and not participating, you're not going to get any points.
Right.
I just want to make sure we're all clear on that part. The point isn't for holding a position, it's for keeping it defended
Okay.
or destroying the other side.
But even still, you're sacrificing a lot by giving up a playfield.
Oh no, I completely agree with that part. If you have the advantage on in that playfield, you want to keep it.
Exactly, but that's the reason to be in both places. I don't want to give you an edge by letting you run free in space, so I'm going to go up to space. I don't want to give you an advantage by letting you roam free on the planet, so I'm going to go down to the planet. So there's always a reason to be in both places.
All right.
Just right now, there's no reason to be in space.
Right.
We'll have the golden stuff set up there, and it also, right now, and even until then, it'll still count towards being able to get a point. So if you're in space and you got a base up there, and the other side comes up into space, and just because he decides to fly up there to go to the moon, and you blast him out of the sky, and now there's nobody left on the playfield, you just got yourself a point.
Right, but if I have a base up there, then you're not getting a point. Or just shooting down one of my ships.
Exactly.
Or,
So you're going to want a base up there,
anyway.
so that way you can't just give the other side a free point because they shot you out of the sky.
Right, so there's always a reason to be in both playfields. And if the whole point, putting the admin POI or the trade post up in space is for the freelancers' benefit, so they don't have to worry about any nonsense. I can still attack you, in space, and we don't have to worry about, well, I was here and I was 9.9 kilometers away, but he thinks I was 10.1 because he's in a pilot seat farther to the front of his ship, and I'm not.
And also at the same time, it's not like I'm gonna say that the freelancers will lie to us, but we can't control that they make sure they give us the whole shipment.
Also, it seems to me, if I'm up there hunting for your shipment, I should have to be at least at a range where I can see the freelancer's ship. I'm thinking like 700 meters.
Well, you can. I mean, if it's a big enough ship, you can see it at like
Right, but
3
my
kilometers.
point is, I shouldn't lose my shipment because you happen to be in space when the PvE guys entered the playfield. 10K is a lot.
Oh, we're not going to, okay.
In order for me to catch...
Oh, you know what? If you're in an alliance, you can't hurt the other guys anyways, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but you don't have to... My point is, you don't have to worry about all these minute details if you just make the trade hub in space.
That's not what we're talking about now. Get over it. Get past that.
That is what we're talking about.
No, we're talking about how you claim the other shipment if there's no one there to defend it. Now, when you fire on a vessel that's allied with you, you can't cause damage to their ships. Right?
I think if you shoot it manually,
guy,
I think you can.
If you just say the PvE guy was seen in space, so he loses his shipment, that's hokey to me. I don't know.
Hold on a second. Listen to what I'm saying. Can you shoot an allied vessel without damaging it?
Doesn't have to be, you can.
I don't know.
Yeah. Absolutely. If I crash hard into one of my faction members' HVs, it does damage. Intercepting the shipment creates this problem where PvE guys who want to do PvE
Yeah, that's true.
are now being exposed to PvP, and they don't want to be.
I still say that, no matter how we look at it, when it comes to the PvE shipments, if you're not defending it and the other side finds it, then get it.
So that
Period. Don't ship it if you're not going to protect it. That's the way I see it. Why take
Just
a chance?
out of curiosity, what does the PvEer say about this?
I was gonna
yeah, because
say,
you're
like,
forcing PvP conditions on the PvE players now.
And the
not.
whole point of
These
this
have been the same
setup was so that
conditions.
they don't have any.
When you tell them that they're not going to get paid because they got robbed, then they just go, you know what? Then we're just not
That's
going
life.
to. We're not going to deliver shit to anybody.
Unless you protect
Well,
it, right?
shouldn't it be?
They should
if,
say
if,
no if they don't feel comfortable that you're not going to defend the shipment. I wouldn't
If,
sell
be a
stuff
choice,
to you. It's their choice.
If we get attacked,
If
PvE
I'm being
guy.
escorted, I don't want to sit in space for 30 minutes while these guys beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, like,
Pardon my
if I have a huge CV, it's going to take forever to destroy, like,
Yeah.
Now they've got to sit there and wait for us to duke it out. If you just put the POI there and you can't attack until after they transfer the goods, then they don't have to worry about any PvP conditions. They don't have to worry about, how close they were to somebody. It's just the deal's made, they're gone. Now the PvP guy has to worry about defending his own stuff.
Just make it simple.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically, cut the freelancers completely out of it so they don't have to do anything. Might as well just make it so you have to go to the PD playfield and pick it up.
That would work too.
That would work
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be fine.
That
Yeah.
means you have to. That would double or triple your chances of running into somebody if you got to travel across 3 playfields. And that gives you an ample amount of time to continually attack somebody.
Yeah, that works too. If you want to do that, do that.
Yeah. I agree on that one too.
That's actually not a bad idea, Wolf.
It'll stifle you in the beginning when the server relaunches for a little bit, but because you got to get a CV up. But other than that, yeah, there's no. That's fine.
Yeah, and it will give the PvEers time to build up a stockpile of resources.
You may have accidentally stumbled upon a pretty good solution right there.
That's why I made the trade house. I knew something was going to come up. Well, the only place to get it is at their trade station on their homeworld.
What the discussions are about.
There's unlocked containers there for you guys to use right next to the stairwell. On the right-hand side, you just put their cargo shipments in it.
And if you think about that, let's say I engage. Let's
Oh,
say
you shut up, Blighted. Go jump back down on my base again.
He would, but it's not there.
Oh.
Snap.
You
You wait until I actually have time to
fact-
play again.
in fact-
You just wait.
Hold on a second, Static. Did we leave a core in that base? Because I'm pretty sure I'd be jumping back down onto my base. No,
Hey, I can
anyway,
make a new
seriously,
core real
Wolf.
quick for you.
Let's say I attacked you, coming back like you're literally in the PVE playfield getting your stuff, and let's say me and you duked it out and you wrecked me. You wrecked me in a heartbeat, or I wrecked you, and I take your shipment and I'm still coming back to the homeworld planet. You can respawn on the homeworld planet, grab another SV, and come out and meet me again. That would leave 3 playfields for me to have to drag it back. The material could change hands 2-3 times. That would be kind of cool.
Uh-huh.
That would be
See,
from a PvP.
Now,
point of
this
view, that
is
would be
why we have these blogs and discussions every week. And we
Yeah,
just
I
solved
would like
all
to
those issues and summed it all up
I thought
into
it
just
said you
me
wanted to
saying
hear
something
about
stupid.
I personally log on for the comedy, the comedy ramblings of HUD.
Me too. That's why I told him he didn't have a choice. He has to come because he's the only one that makes me laugh. All right. So the new
You
rule.
wound me.
The
You
new
wounded
rule from this point on for when it comes to getting the shipments from the PDEers is PvPers has to go get it from their trade hub. If you can't get
I
it,
like that.
oh well.
Okay.
Fine.
Not to mention, this is going to encourage, I think at least, it's going to encourage big CV battles.
Oh, I agree too. If we could
And
get
that
both sides to
right
have
there is
full-time
what I've been
players.
dying to get into is a real big CV battle.
Oh, me too.
Like
I would love to.
Armada on Armada, that would be a blast.
Yeah, you're dying all right for CVs.
Those are my favorite things of the CVs. But right now, we've really got to work on getting more players on both sides evenly when it comes to playtime. That's what's really killing the actual play, the gameplay side of everything. So right now everything's just unbalanced when it comes to gameplay.
I mean, you gotta log in. You know, I understand. You know, that gets in the way and stuff, but I mean the numbers. I mean the numbers aren't that imbalanced. I know you have a bunch of people moving, so it's inconvenient right now. But you know, 6 on 8 isn't that unbalanced.
I'm not talking numbers. I'm talking gameplay hours. But
Well,
that's
you
all.
know, get off of Minecraft and get onto Imperium.
But if I were you, I would say nothing more because you are really
was kicked from the
up too late.
There you go.
Don't ever accuse me of playing Minecraft again. I got my
I'm
pants
sorry
out of
he
that.
walked into that one.
I got my pants out of playing that game. Look, excuse me, for the past couple of weeks, all I've been doing is working on our freaking server trailer and working on the freaking play fields. I can stop working on those and just go right back to playing full time. Uh-huh.
I mean,
Well-
in the beginning, you guys had more people on than us nonstop. So
2. I had Magic Slayer and Necrom.
and Regalia and Faith.
Faith?
It was like 4 people.
I
on
wish
every day.
Faith was had more hours in the day to play.
Hey, can I just say that you all sound like y'all are married?
We are. He's an attorney, and I'm a father. It's called debate. It's healthy. Get over it.
Great. A bloodsucker and a...
Okay, I will stop it right there.
A cattle driver.
Error.
All right, what else we got that's been bugging the server out with different
Huge
things not
gold
working?
deposits.
I know we're going to be cutting those down. Fix
What are
that.
you thinking about doing with them?
Just literally cutting them in half, the quantity.
I mean, if you wanted
Same
to leave the
size.
same, you
Same
could do.
size nodes, but just less.
A lot less nodes. The amount of nodes is what's killing it.
Yeah. Well, what if you did like, because I mean, when 8 drops, obviously the planets are going to be massive. So what if you did like 16 or 24 nodes, but with like a half or a quarter of in each? You know, like you have like the 8 locations now. So you double the locations and like half the amount of gold in each location.
Right now we're gonna
Well,
we're not gonna really
quick.
discuss how that's gonna work in 8 because the way the deposits and stuff work in 8 is totally different. We might not even have to have that many nodes to do what we do now.
Okay.
So until 8 drops, there's no way to discuss how we're gonna do 8 until 8, or at least they give us the information on how they're actually doing it the way they've been discussing it. It's just all up in the air. So I don't even want to try and figure that out until we actually have some type of solid information on how they're going to run it. All I know is that the deposits are going to be laid out, distributed, and done differently. So until I find out how they're doing it and how we get to work with it, there's no point even trying to figure that out. Right now we just need to make it work in the test server for what we're working with. And the only way to do that is we got to delete some of those nodes. Now, like you said, what we can do is not only cut them in half, but we might actually be able to cut them in quarters instead, so that way they're only a quarter of the amount, but have more deposits around the planet.
Yeah.
Each area that has resources, is that just a bunch of deposits piled up on top of each other?
Yep, there's 100 nodes for each one of them.
No,
Now,
okay. Now, just so we've got the same nomenclature going on. A
Each node
is
has like
one-
5 or 6 deposits in it of those rocks.
Okay, so when you're mining and we blow up a rock, are you calling that a node?
Nope. That's just part of the deposit, the node.
Okay.
A node
So-
is the physical object, the one node that actually has 5 of those rocks that you blow up, 5 or 6 of them or something like that.
Okay. And there's 100 nodes in one spot.
Which means there's like 600-700 of those rocks that you blow up.
Yeah, there's no reason to have that many. I mean, I don't know about the other PvE group, but I mean, one of those rocks is sometimes you can't even tell you're on. You might be on 2. I did a.
Well, the reason why we did it is because that way
it was almost 200,000 ore.
we didn't know how long the mining would last, so that's why we just started off with a round number. You know, that's why we can change it up and actually take a few away, because they actually do last a long time. But the reason
you could probably get away with a quarter of that.
But the reason we have so many is so that way they never run out. Because we don't want meteorites falling. We want them there and to always be there, if you catch my drift. Because they don't regenerate. They don't come back. That's the problem.
Well, I would think by the time, even if they were at, say, a third of what they are now, by the time we emptied out those, both PvE sides would probably have like a couple of planets. I mean, there are.
That's what I'm glad to hear, because I
lot
could
of
cut them.
materials.
I could really cut them in half then, or even farther.
Well, you could try cutting them in half and see how it works, and then I mean, I would like obviously as much as possible, but not when I'm drilling and getting 3 frames per second.
Well, when like, believe me, I am so upset about it because, when we first were doing my first PvP engagement with these guys was out on top of a deposit. I couldn't do anything. I had 1 frame per second most of the time. The only thing I could do is literally run around and drop turrets. I couldn't shoot at them. I couldn't do anything. I was just stuck.
So I do just have one logistical question. How is cutting the nodes right now going to affect bases that are built around those nodes?
The only way to do it we'd actually have to wipe the planets. And there's no other way at this point. If we want to cut the nodes right now, we would actually have to do a wipe.
I don't know how people are going to feel about that. I mean, I wouldn't be a fan. But, I mean, I'll talk to some of the other people in my faction, see what they think, but I don't think they're going to be thrilled about that idea.
Well, I did warn you guys ahead of time, even in TeamSpeak on KB channel when we all first started, and I reiterated, you got to make sure you understand this is the test server. Things can get wiped and reset. You never know what's going to happen, so it's not like people weren't warned about it. This is the test server run for the actual finished product, because we're trying to find these problems and bugs to fix them, which we know that the nodes are just way too big. That's a problem that has to be fixed, and if there's no other way around it, we have to do it.
How long time will it take you to fix all the planets?
Yeah. Oh, we could do that in probably 10 minutes.
Then, and don't shoot me saying that, I would suggest that you wipe the server totally, start it over, and fix it, fix all the nodes.
Well, the good thing, I'm not too, okay, I'm the new guy here, so, but
everybody has a voice.
On this. Yeah, I'm not too happy about the server wipe, but yet I'm on the fence because I can see where you're getting from with the nodes being so large and, the lag, because I'm getting the lag too really bad. The wonderful thing, and also the mechanic about this game, just remember guys, we can blueprint the bases.
And you can sink them now. Unlike previous iterations, you couldn't actually drop them into the ground. You can actually drop them in the ground now.
That actually brings me up a question.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I've tried to spawn in a base, like not in here on multiplayer, but like creative single player, I always get this nasty structural integrity problems. If I blueprint the base I have now and spawn it in, and half of it's bright red, can we have an admin respawn it? Because
yeah, we always do.
Okay.
No. Whenever we have,
I don't want to
especially for you new guys, you don't know yet. But when we have to do a wipe for any reason, let's say a planet gets corrupted and something happens. The reason we always tell everybody to always make sure you have all your stuff blueprinted is so a bad day comes by, the planet actually has to be reset because of a bug or an issue or something that came up, whether it's our fault or a game problem. Is we always put things back right where they were. and literally just by spawning it back in. An admin would put your base back. But we would have you clean out all your stuff off the playfield first. We're not going to give you back all of your items. Those you're responsible for. You put them all on your ship and you take it to another playfield and
with everything
bring
in it.
With everything in it.
Okay, so we were technically starting from scratch.
No, you don't lose anything. You just literally lose the playfield until it's put back.
Load everything up in a CD and
And haul it off to one of the other playfields that we're not working on, and then when we come
in
back,
other words, like all the ore and all the items that you have in your base,
right?
That you have already.
You would just put it all onto your CV, warp it out of there. We'd all get off, log off, shut down the server. We'd fix the file, which usually before we do any of that, we fix the file first, and then that way it's already ready and waiting. And then we have you guys move everything and go. And then we'll shut down the server, put in the new file, delete the old one, start the server back up, and then you guys just move right back and put your base back where it belongs.
Okay. You guys
that sounds like a very plausible way of doing it, and I have to admit I do kind of like it.
Thank God.
That's how we always do it. That's how we always do it. We don't do total restarts unless it's a community decision. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, though. Alpha 8 comes out, it is a total restart.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way around that because that's all new files, all new everything.
Right.
You know, we all know that that's coming. But other than things like that, unless it's a community voted thing where everybody wants it, or 90% I should say want it, there's never a total wipe. When we talk about wiping a planet or wiping a playfield, it's literally fixing a playfield and you putting your shit back where it was. Pardon the language, but it's just that we don't do total wipes if we can help it.
So basically, it's 2 planets. That's an issue.
So are we? Because I get moving everything. Are we adminning or are we blueprinting the bases back in then?
Yes. Admin, blueprint, put it back in place. And if you can't get it back perfect, just get it as close as you can. That's all we can say when it comes to bases. They're the most biggest pain in the butt to do.
I mean, I'm gonna I don't know what the fuck they're gonna want to do. They might be totally for it, but I think maybe you should just put it for a vote for a couple days on what's it called, on the discussion forum.
Nothing's being set in stone today. This is something that each playfield players have to decide for themselves. You know, and it's between both PvP factions whether we delete the planet now and just fix it now, or just leave it as is and keep going with the way it is.
Well, how does it work when if your base is underground, you put it back? You have to carve it all out again and then get them put back in?
No, you put it in first, and then the way it works is this is the bad part is when you put it in the ground, it goes back wherever you put it in the ground. So let's say I do it. I'll sink it all the way down, and let's say your hangar door was what was on top. I'll sink it all the way down to the point where the hangar door is literally on top of the ground. The bad part is you would actually have to go and remove all the dirt afterwards from in the base. But you don't have to redig it like the hole and then put it in there. You'd have to dig it out from the inside out. So you would already know where to dig because you're digging out your hallways and walls and whatnot.
Oh, so it doesn't automatically go back into the spot you put it?
No.
And what about those bases that are our bases are on a hill? That means it's embedded in the hill and you just go inside and dig it out. The pieces that are inside a hill.
Yeah, we put it in the hill, and then you would, in your base, you would open your door and you'd start digging it out from the inside.
Buddy joined your channel.
That's the only drawback to having to put it in the ground, and it's a pain in the butt.
By the way, if any of Wolf's subscribers is in any way affiliated with Spectrum Internet, you suck.
Thanks for your thoughts on that. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I can make a comment to that, but I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Wow. So what were we talking about? I'm totally lost now.
Spectrum Internet?
Shitty internet.
Hey, nobody could beat how bad my internet is. Unless you're using a cell phone.
I'm on my cell phone now.
Buddy
I
joined your
hotspotted my
channel.
phone.
Oh, wow.
and it's more stable.
Well, it looks like we got a lot to work through this week and figure out, and hopefully next week we'll have some conclusions and answers and stuff like that. One thing we're setting down as a fact of rule right now is the fact that all trades for the PvP faction have to take place at the trade hub in the PvE sector. So no more PvEers have to fly through the PvP playfields or have to worry about how to get it. You literally have to attack the other side to get shipments if you're going to get a shipment now, which is perfectly fine with me, and I'm glad I ragingly came up with it. But let's see. I think it's about it. We've covered almost all the issues and everything, topics and stuff we can come up with.
Well, do you want to put
real quick,
do we put up a vote for wiping the planets?
No. We'll worry about that.
That was going to be my question.
Right, we'll worry about that later, because it's between the playfield players if they want to deal with it or not. So we're going to set up a different type of voting for this one. For the PvP planet, we're going to have a specific discussion on that planet, whether we want to do it or not, because that means the orbit has to be wiped as well. There's no way around that one, in order to get the planet to reset to what we want. Hopefully they have that so it doesn't work like that anymore when Alpha 8 comes out, but it just doesn't work where you can just wipe the planet and the playfield's fine in space. It doesn't change the space-based playfield when you're looking at it. When it comes to the PvE planets, if you guys want those wiped, you just literally go ahead and if you want to put up a discussion for your own personal planets, for you guys that actually make sure it has to involve everyone that lives on it.
My concern is just making sure everybody has.
Buddy disconnected from your channel.
Make sure that we just have enough notice because we got a ton of crap to move.
It will not be wiped until everybody's online and has all their stuff off the planet. We've never done it beforehand, except for those who've blatantly ignored the response. We give you guys enough notice. You know it's coming. You know it's happening. When it happens, if you're not there, or you didn't make arrangements with someone else to deal with it, to move your ship or something, I'm not going to be held responsible for it. No, but you do have. We're not going to. If we did it, it wouldn't be even until next weekend anyway. Because we have to get people's votes and opinions on it all the way up to that point anyway. So everybody will have plenty of announcements.
It's a testing thing. I don't think it's really needed for a vote. I would just schedule it honestly, and we'll make sure. I'll just make sure all my guys know that this day, put all your stuff in a CV or SV or something. Because this day it's going to get reset, and then we'll just have to. It's no big deal.
Right.
But I personally would put it. It's a testing thing. So.
We'll see. We'll discuss it some more later in this week and see where it goes. But it wouldn't happen until towards the end of the week but anywhere from the middle of the week towards the end of the week, anyways. Because I have to change the files in Magic Disk to do some stuff to them too in order to get it all set up ahead of time. Because we're not going to shut down the server and do it until we already have the work done. It would just be stupid and pointless. So if we don't get it done before a deadline, and that's why we're not going to give a deadline, it's pointless. So let me get the work done first, and then we'll worry about when.
Yeah, no worries. When you're ready to do it, then let us know.
Right.
We're when you're done and ready, then just give us a day or two to make sure. And
that's how we do it. So it'll be fine.
A day or two to move your base? Crazy.
Well, I got you for me.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week. Remember to check out everybody's channels, and if you haven't already, definitely subscribe and show your support for some of these guys, and definitely go and check out my channel and see all the lists of everyone in our community that YouTubes. I have it in the discussion of every one of my videos for you guys, so you can't miss out on them. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to play hard, game harder, and until next week, take it easy.
Oh, Wolf.